Hi there, I'm Allison and I'll be guiding you through your yoga class today. So just got to do the intro disclaimer first. In response to COVID-19, PSP is offering virtual fitness to Canadian Armed Forces members. By using social media platforms, the virtual fitness classes tailored to Canadian Armed Forces personnel become accessible to all. Participants who are not Canadian Armed Forces members recognize and acknowledge that their age, health status, and physical health levels are unknown. And it is entirely up to each individual to assess their ability to participate in this class. Since it is preferred to consult your physician before beginning any exercise program, we invite all participants who are not Canadian Armed Forces members to consult the Get Active questionnaire of the Canadian Society of Exercise Physiology and its reference document. If you experience any pain or difficulty during the exercises presented in this video, it is recommended that you stop and consult a healthcare provider. If CAF members sustain any injury during this video, please remember to fill out a CF98. So getting on to the yoga portion, if you want to have a block, recommended, but you don't need to have one, a stack of books or a sturdy Tupperware container is more than welcome. A mat, obviously preferred, or a soft space to practice on. So we're going to start by getting into a comfortable position, reclining down onto our mats. So finding that place of comfort, of ease, just letting that body fully relax and settle in. Hands can rest. A reclined butterfly. Hands can still be wherever comfortable. And the soles of the feet touch as the knees fall wide. The closer the feet are to the body, the more intense the stretch will be. The further away, the more mild sensation we get into. So adjusting accordingly. Here in this pose, we're just stretching out the inner thighs, giving them a little love and attention. If we work in a commuting environment where we're driving, desk jobs, a lot of sitting, this area usually gets to tend to be quite tight. Hands will come to the outside of the legs, helping guide the knees up. And then we're going to take our right hand, grasping the top of the right shin, pulling that knee in towards the ribs. And just nice driving. Our left leg knee can stay bent, giving the body more support, or we can walk the foot down the mat, finding a little bit more rest and comfort here. Keeping the shoulders relaxed down to the mat, let the back of the head become heavy. Exhale, releasing the right, hugging in that left. Hands clasped, pull the knee in towards the chest, outside of the ribs. Right leg rests however comfortable. Opening and stretching out those hips. Deepen that breath. A lot of intensity can be found in this stretch. Just breathe through. Exhale, hands release the leg, coming into our dead bug, a little core activation here, Getting that body nice and warmed up. Our knees are going to be bent, shins parallel to the ceiling. We exhale, that core is tight, low back presses into the mat. We want to make sure or pretend that there's a penny underneath the spine and that we're keeping it hidden. No one can see, no one can get to it. Keep that core tight. Fingertips reach towards the ceiling as well. Shoulders stay down. Chin can stay down or chin can tuck in into the chest. Having that head lift, all based on your preference. Option here to hold this pose, having that core engagement, still driving that navel in, or alternating hands and legs, where our right arm comes down towards the ear. We extend that left leg out, still being mindful of that low back, making sure that it is still pressed into the mat, not lifting up. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, other side. Just alternating in cycle with your breath, moving as fast or as slow as you can, while still keeping the movement controlled. We can still hold, that's always an option, keeping that core tight. We're gonna finish up alternating each side. Perfect. Hugging those knees in towards the chest. Roll out that low back. Give it a nice little massage. We have the option here to come up to our tabletop position, however comfortable, so we can roll onto the right side. Use the hands to help guide us up, or hug those knees in and roll up to the top. We're gonna sweep the feet from out underneath. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Those fingertips are spread. Knees underneath the hips and feet are flat. We're warming up that spine, so as we inhale, the belly goes down towards the ground as the head comes up. We exhale round, tucking that shin towards the chest as the shoulder blades lift up towards the ceiling. Move as fast or as slow as you need. In cycle with the breath. Once again, being with that breath to guide you through the movements. We inhale, belly expand, head comes up. Exhale, round, floating away. If you need to pause in the pose, really enjoy the stretch, feel free to. Just don't hold your breath. Jump back in whenever you're ready. Seeing if you can go a little lower on those inhales and a little higher on those exhales. Last cycle of breath here. And we exhale back to a neutral spine. Awesome. Coming into our thread the needle, we're gonna inhale our right hand up towards the ceiling. Eyes gaze at those fingertips. Exhale, feed that right hand through underneath the left arm. Head and side of the shoulder rest down towards the ground. Inhale, lift and reach. Exhale, drive and stretch. Last time, inhaling up. Exhale, hand comes down to the mat. Setting up for the other side, we're inhaling that left hand up. Eyes gaze at those fingertips. Exhale, left hand feeds through, letting the side of the face rest. Breathe into that shoulder. Inhale, reaching up. Exhaling, reaching through. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hand comes down to the mat. From here, we're gonna come into our low lunge. So stepping our right foot forward, our left knee is still gonna stay down. Toes can tuck or stay untucked, depending on the comfortability. We inhale, sweep the arms up, engage the glutes and the core here, keeping that body tight. Arms reach up towards the ceiling and pressing those hips a little bit forward. getting a deeper stretch here. Noticing where our knee is in line with the ankle. If the knee is jutting too far forward, we take that foot and we walk it a little bit in front, keeping it nice and stacked. And we exhale, send the hips back, straightening that front leg. If we need to walk that foot forward, more than welcome to. Hand can grab onto the top of the leg, the shin, walk it down to the mat, or a block or Tupperware for support. Keeping that tall back, we're not rounding through the spine, core is engaged, shoulders are pulled together and active here. And to get into a little bit of nerve flossing, as we hold this stretch, we have that option to point and flex the foot, alternating, feeling that change in sensation as well. Exhale, gently bend the knee. Inhale, chest comes back up. Exhale, sweep the hands down to the mat. Tuck those back toes. Press the knee back. Other side, left foot steps forward. Keep that right knee down, toes however comfortable. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Adjust that foot however you need. And from here, press the hips forward, keep that core tight, keep the glutes engaged. We're opening through the chest and we're squeezing through the back space of the body. Exhale, send the hips back, extend the leg out, and then we fold. Hands on our hip, on the mat. Again, grabbing that block, just making sure that that foot is in line with the hip, a little bit walking it in, nice straight line. Again, that nerve flossing, flex and point the toes. Feeling that stretch initially from the toes down the hamstrings, the back of the legs. But here we also get into the ankle muscles with our nerve flossing. So lots going on, but don't forget about those shoulders, about that back. Last cycle of breath here. Exhale, bend that knee. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. We're gonna tuck the toes back, step it back into our downward dog, walking those hands out a little bit further here. So they should be in line with the corner edges of the mat. Knees bent as much as they need. Really focusing on getting that extension of the spine. A lot of people will drive the heels down and come into more of a plank pose due to a tighter lower half. Bend the knees, get that extension, get that mobility in the spine, the shoulders. Using this position to breathe, we can pedal the feet. As we walk the dog, sway the hips, add a little bit of movement here. Or coming into a downward facing dog squat where you bend the knees, heels come towards the bum. Inhale, press it up. A little bit of movement here to get that blood flowing back to the lower half of the body, helping heat and warm up the body. We're going to repeat this sequence 3 times here. So find stillness in that downward dog, eyes lift hands, feet step, walk, hop to the top of your mat. Knees bend as the arms sweep out as you inhale all the way up. Fingertips reach towards the ceiling. Eyes gaze at those fingertips. And as long as it's good for the spine, those hips press forward. We engage through the quads, squeezing them. And then we exhale, neutral spine. Bring the hands down to heart center. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, fold all the way down to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shin, flat back. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Step, walk, hop to plank. flowing through our vinyasa sequence. Drop the knees if you need. Elbows to ribs, like you're keeping a piece of paper tucked into the body, not trying to drop it into a puddle. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift to our cobra. Elbows can bend as much as they need. This causes a lot of sensation in the back. Feet can walk out to those corner edges. Elbows can bend as well, coming up a little lower. Shoulders, roll down back. Curl the toes, exhale back to our downward facing dog. From here, we're going to repeat that sequence 2 more times. Eyes lift to hands, feet step, walk hop. Inhale, sweep, extended mountain. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Step, walk, hop to plank. Drop the knees if those arms are feeling tired. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, up to cobra. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Last time here, eyes lift to hands, feet step, walk, hop. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step, walk, hop. Flow through. Quality movements here. The body learns the movements as you practice them. So without good form, we don't learn good form. Keep those movements quality, consistent. And then we all meet back in our downward facing dog. Okay, once in our downward facing dog, we're gonna inhale, shoulders back over those wrists, walk the feet together, keep that core tight, and we're gonna come to the side plank. So inhale, our right hand towards the center of our mat, and then we exhale, float that left hand up. Few options here. We can have the knee come down to the ground, still keeping that core tight, staggering the feet, widening that base of support, or the legs can come together, stacked on top of one another. There's also an option to float that top leg off of the ground, keeping that core tight, breathing through, keeping whatever needs that your body needs today in mind. This is your practice. You're listening to what the body is making requests of. Exhale, hand comes down to the mat. Walk that right hand in. And then we're gonna do that on the opposite side. Walk the left hand in. Inhale, right hand up. Make sure that shoulder is in line. Take that base of support, keeping the core tight, whichever option you choose. Exhale, hand comes back down. Drop the knees if you need, if those arms are feeling tight and heavy. Elbows to ribs. Inhale, up to cobra. Exhale, back to our downward facing dog. From here, we're getting into it, coming into our warrior one on the right. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, right leg through. Back heel comes down to the ground and toes slightly turned out, so we're towards the corner edge of your mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Hips face forward. Arms reach up and back. Perfect. We're gonna come to that humble warrior, so hands clasp behind the body, knuckles drive down, opening through that chest. And we're gonna exhale, hinge in to that supporting front leg. Hands can drive towards the wall behind you or reach up towards the ceiling. If the hands can't fully clasp, feel free to grab the shirt and pull those arms down and away, really getting into our chest, into those shoulders. Exhale, release the hands. Inhale, sweep the arms back up. Warrior one. Coming to our warrior two. Our hips open to the long edge of the mat as the foot turns back 90 degrees. So the foot is parallel to the short edge of the mat, and our arms reach and wrap around that horizon. Standing up nice and tall, we inhale, hinge at those hips. Exhale, elbow to thigh, sweeping that top arm up towards the front of the room, over those toes that are extended out. From here, we have that option to stay here, keeping our chest fully open, or we can walk the hand down the leg, coming deeper into the pose. If we want to make this pose more strengthening, we lift the bottom arm, having it parallel to the body. Or if a bind is in your practice where the arms reach and wrap around, that's more than welcome. Finding your variation. Keeping those shoulders relaxed, pulled away from the ears. Making sure that back pinky toe is pressed into the mat, making full connection, not rolling onto the ankle. And we inhale, sweep the arms back up, warrior two. Exhale, reverse warrior, hand rests on low back or back of the leg, palm faces you as you reach backwards. Notice how my front knee is still bent, stacked over that ankle. Keep yours there as well. And depending on that sensitivity of the neck, eyes can gaze at your fingertips or towards that pit at the elbow. The breath here, focus on those deep inhales as we hinge back. It makes it a little bit more challenging to breathe. Really focus on that expansion of the low belly. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, windmill the hands down to the mat. Step the foot through, flow through. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back. Awesome. From here, we're gonna come into that very same warrior one on the same side, right side. Inhale, same leg. Exhale, bring it through. Warrior one, back heel slightly turned, hips square to the front. Inhale it up. Perfect. From here, pyramid pose. Inhale, straighten that front knee. Exhale, fold over it. Hands can rest at the top of the thigh, the shin, your block, the mat. Just keep that pressure off of the knee. Shoulders are square. Pull down away from the ears. And just take those few moments to reconnect with that breath. Exhale, gently bend that knee as you inhale. Sweep it up. Warrior one. We're gonna come into our warrior three. So slowly, we're gonna walk our left foot in a little bit. Hips are still square. Arms can rest however comfortable, outreached. At hips, behind, heart center, whatever you like. We can take a staggered stance as we hinge the hips to have the body become parallel to the ground. Eyes find that focal point, keeping your balance. Option to stay here or lift the foot up. You can always kick it back down if you lose your balance, or keep it up. As you reach forward with the arms, you reach back with the leg. Breathing here. Inhale, coming up standing. If you need to drop the foot down, feel free. We're gonna come into our eagle pose. Gently bend that front knee. Walk the foot around. So if it needs to wrap, if it's wrapping around the leg, the toes can tap at the top of the mat. We can walk a little further. It comes towards closer to the ankle. Or fully wrap it around the calf. Send those sit bones back. Keep that chest up. We're here for 5 full breaths. Shoulders are up. Proud chest. Just like you're standing, just like you're having a regular conversation, breathe. Exhale, unwind the leg, tap out the feet, roll out those ankles. And we're gonna inhale, sweep the arms up, upward salute, upward extended mountain. Exhale, fold all the way down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, you know it, step, walk, hop it to plank. We're flowing through, drop those knees if you need. Chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Now what we do to one side, we gotta do to the left. Let's make it happen. Warrior one on the left. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, left leg through. Back heel, 45 degrees. Inhale, sweep. From here, humble warrior. Hands clasped behind. Fold over on that exhale. Hands reach up towards the ceiling or towards the wall behind you. Exhale, release the hands. Inhale, sweep them back up. Warrior one. Exhale, warrior two, back hip, back foot, 90 degrees, hips square to the short or long edge of the mat. Foot is square to the short edge. Arms reach and wrap around that horizon, shoulders pull back. Extend a side angle, inhale, hinge at those hips, kick that back one out. Exhale, elbow to thigh, sweep that arm towards the top of the room. Remembering that you can take your pose to the next level if you'd like. If you're able to keep that chest open, that foot planted, walk it down, lift the arm, come into that bind. Not forgetting to breathe here. Inhale, sweep the arms back up, warrior two. Coming into our reverse warrior. Exhale, hand rests on low back or back leg. Swing it back, pressing those hips. Making sure that back knee isn't buckling. Straighten the foot, straighten the leg. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, windmill the hands down to the mat, step the foot back, flowing through. Exhale, lower, inhale, lift. Exhale, back to that downward facing dog. From here, warrior one, once more. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, left leg through. Inhale, sweep it up, feet are stacked. Coming to the pyramid pose. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, fold over it. Remembering, keeping that pressure off of the knee. We want to strengthen the body. We want to stretch out the body. The second we start putting pressure on the knee, we influence that joint to move out of its normal range. So make sure we don't do that. Gently bend the knee, inhale, sweep the arms back up. Whoop. Getting your balance back to your warrior one. We're gonna exhale, come into our warrior three. Hinge at those hips, arms rest however comfortable. Toes can stay down to the ground or lift the foot off. Keep those hips square. Keep them parallel to the ground. Lifting and balancing, breathe it out. Tension likes to move throughout other areas of the body. So if you notice that your jaw is tensing, your brow is tensing, make sure to relax the face, relax the jaw, relax the shoulders, and breathing through. Inhale, bring the toe down, or bring it through. Coming into our eagle pose, gently bend the knees, sit the butt back a little bit. Toes can touch on the mat. Walk it out behind. towards the ankle, or have it wrap around the calf and thigh. Hands at hips, heart center. Keep that torso upright. We're here for 5 cycles of breath. Breathing through. Noticing what your breath is telling you here. If it's short and erratic, the body is usually pretty tense. The slower, the softer it is. The more focused, the more relaxed we are. Beautiful thing about the body, we slow down that breath, it starts to believe it's relaxed as well. So slow it down if you're feeling that intensity in the foot. And then we exhale, unravel, roll out the ankles, tap out those feet. Standing up nice and tall, upward salute, inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold all the way down to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Step walk, hop to plank. Flowing through our vinyasa sequence. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back to our downward facing dog. We're gonna inhale, shoulders over wrists, in our plank, and hold, and breathe. Keeping that core tight, not tenting at the butt, not dropping the hips. Keep the glutes locked, keep the core engaged. Breathe through. Keeping those shoulders. Keeping those shoulders stacked over wrists. The core is tight, the glutes are engaged. We're gonna float the knees down to the mat gently. We're lowering our abdomen onto the ground, coming into a nice low back stretch. Pit of the elbows are in line with the shoulders, fingers are spread. Depending on that sensitivity of the low back, feet can walk out to the corner edges of your mat. If you want more sensation, walk them in, keep them nice and close. Head can hang heavy or tilt back, just making sure that our shoulders are pulled down, relaxed. And if this is still too much sensation, we have our feet out, head whichever way. We have our hands grasp opposite elbows and walk it out till we find that manageable stretch. Not sacrificing the instincts of the body for the glory of the pose. We want to listen to the body. We don't make it better by pushing past certain pain, any throbbing sensation, any sharpness. Don't want to do that mild discomfort, that little ache where we're building. That's what we want. But just find that appropriate amount of sensation. Directing that breath to the low back. With every inhale, feel it expand. Every exhale, feel it release. And then finally, we all grasp opposite elbows. And walk our way down to the ground. Hands can stay crossed for a pillow for the side of the cheek to rest on. Or just directing that breath to the low back. Eyes turn down towards the mat. Hands come underneath the shoulders. We press the knees into the mat, coming into our child's pose. So just adjusting in our tabletop, knees in line with the hips, toes face back. And we send those sit bones towards the ground, letting the arms rest overhead, or they can wrap around, grasping the toes behind. Head rests down to the mat. And just taking a few breaths here. Fully relaxed, starting to release. Inhaling, hands underneath the shoulders, slowly walk them up or back, depending where they were. Sweep the feet from out underneath. We're gonna come to our staff pose. So legs are glued together, toes press up towards the ceiling, shoulders roll down back, and our hands are resting down by sides. The intensity, the tightness in the core is what's keeping that body upright. The hands aren't doing much to help. It's all that tension in our abdomen that's keeping our rod-like spine upright. Staying and holding, squeezing the muscles, keeping everything engaged. And now we're gonna come into our little Lord of the Fishes, half Lord of the Fishes. We're gonna bend our right knee and have the foot come to the outer part of the left leg, whether that's the knee or where we're able to walk it up the thigh, or the side of the foot can rest at the glutes. All great options here. Our left foot still flexed, still actively pointing. And we're gonna have our right knee bent, keeping our left arm, giving it a nice little hug, having it come long. Hug that knee up to the chest a little more. Inhale, lengthen through that spine. Almost as if someone is pulling you up right by the ears, that lift. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. So the body is rotating into that right leg and past it. Our right hand comes down to the ground. Fingertips, palm, fist, whatever can make contact. And our eyes gaze over that right shoulder as best we can. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling to twist deeper. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhale, unravel. Returning that spine up, right. Flexing that right foot to protect the knee. We're unraveling the leg and extending it back towards the left. Bend that left foot, have it come outside of the right, whether it's knee, thigh, glute, however far it can walk back. Right hand swings around and hugs that left leg, pulling the body even more upright. Keeping the toes pointed, the spine is tall. And then we take our left hand and walk it behind us, eyes gazing over that shoulder. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhale, twist deeper. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhale, twist deeper. And finally, inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling to unravel. Spine returns back to normal. Hand sweeps in. Flex the foot. Protect that knee. Or use the muscles of the leg to come down. From here, we're going to make sure our knees come to stand at the top of our mats. Reclining down once more. We can use helping hands to help guide us or engage through the core. Have that low back the first to touch, not falling onto the shoulder blades. From here, keeping our knees bent, we're gonna come into our figure 4 pose, also known as Recline Pigeon. Right ankle to the top of the left thigh, using the muscles of the right leg to make sure that knee isn't coming in towards us, gently pulling it, pushing it away from the body. We can stay here, already starting to feel the stretch, or we can go a little deeper. Hands, feet around and through that window of the leg, grasping onto the fleshy bit of the left thigh, or the top of the left shin. Remembering to keep that knee away from the body, not having it collapse in. The shoulders and head stay down to the mat. So if we need to readjust where our hands grasp, now we just stay here and breathe. Remembering to slow down that breath, to let that body relax. And we're going to come into our twisted roots. So this is a supine twist. There's plenty of options to do a twist. So if this doesn't suit your body or isn't your preference, feel free to add something into the mix as well. Removing the hands if they're grasping. All we're going to do, whether the foot is on the mat or off it, is have the knees come to connection. So closing the gap, knee stacked on top of knee, or as close as you can get. And then from here, with our right thigh on top of the legs, we're gonna have our hands guide the legs down towards the left side. So hands can guide them down, staying down, or the arms can rest out long like airplane wings, or the elbows can bend coming up like goalposts. As long as it feels good for the neck and spine, the eyes can look opposite the legs, over towards the right. Ironing out any residing tension in the body, breathing deeply into that spiral. Inhale, eyes gaze back up. Exhale, hips come back down to the mat. Unraveling that right leg from the top. We're going to set up for the other side. So now having that left ankle come to the top of the right thigh. Option to stay here or feed the arms around and through. Finding that perfect amount of stretch, that perfect amount of sensation. And just take note of how this pose feels on this side of the body. It's only natural that one side is a little stickier, a little angrier than the other, as we have dominant hands that we write with, dominant legs that we push off with when running, and even dominant eyes that we see with. So it's only natural that one side of the body is a little angrier, a little tighter, a little weaker. So I hope this is your good side, but if not, let where you are be enough. And now we're coming into our supine twist. Remove the hands if they're there. Bridge the gap, left on top of right. And then that left knee guides down towards the right. Arms rest however comfortable. Keeping that shoulder glued down to the mat as best you can. If it lifts a little, that's all right. But we don't want to be essentially resting on our side. Breathing deeply into that spiral. Eyes can gaze opposite the legs. Inhaling, eyes gaze up. Exhaling, hips returning back to the mat. Unravel the legs. And from here, we're going to revisit that first pose, a recline supine butterfly. Soles of the feet touch, knees fall wide. Adjusting the feet, letting the hands rest intuitively wherever they wish to be. And just notice how this pose feels on the second go around. Is there tightness in a new area? Is there a little bit more relaxation, a little bit more stretch? Not holding on to any thought in particular, not getting hung up on the details. Just notice what arises, what comes up. And then finally, hands help guide the knees up. Coming to our final pose, our Shavasana, legs take up as much room as they'd like. The feet fall naturally open. And the hands rest wherever comfortable. Closing the eyes. Starting to settle in. Relax the breath. Relax the breath. And find a feeling of heaviness in the body. Feel that heaviness. Feel each part of your body, from the tips of the toes to the top of the head, become heavy. So heavy that you start to sink into the ground below. Find that awareness. Feel the heaviness. And if you wish to stay in stillness and in silence, take as much time as you need. Thank you so much for joining me in your practice today. Have a great rest of your day.